Hello and welcome back to the Wizards Arena. My name is Jay Moore, and today we continue on with Strixhaven Spoilers. This is day 2. They covered most of Lorehold Red-White today, so we're just going to dive right in and see what we got first. First up, we have the Flame Scroll Celebrant. Colors in a red for 2/1 human shaman. So we have one creature type relevant human. Whenever an opponent activates an ability that isn't mana, she deals 1 damage to that player. Spend 2 to give this guy +2/+0 to end of turn. Okay, that's pretty okay, like interesting. On the next side, we have, on the flip side for the modal card, we have 2 white, instant silence. Your opponents can't cast spells or activate walker abilities. Exile this card. Nothing super impressive either one. Both of these are like decent little sideboard things. I'm not thrilled. They're just okay. I would probably give it a 3 if it was just like Revel in Silence was just by itself, but it's on another card. And same thing with the Shaman. So I feel like it's a 4. Pretty good. Got a few situations that can be good in. It just depends how the environment looks like in Standard. In Commander, I don't see it doing much. Next up, we have a lesson. What are we learning now? Academic Probation. Colorless and a white, choose one. You can choose a non-land card name. Opponents can't cast that spell to your next turn. Or choose target non-land permanent, can't attack, block, or activate abilities. Okay. Again, this is limited because it's, a one-shot. I mean, it's a good sideboard card. The advantage is it's a lesson. It just depends on how many good learned guys we get. So I wouldn't want to jam this in my main deck, but if we get learn cards that are good, it will help out the ranking. But for now, it's only, again, a 4. Next up, we have Bladed Historian. Quadruple red-white hybrid 2/3 human cleric, 2 viable creature types. Attacking creatures you control have double strike. Okay. Well, devotion matters a little bit in Standard now. Also, so you can slap this in there with the red demigod. You also have this with Iona. So when you're attacking with stuff, all your stuff would get double strike. So this seems pretty good. Like maybe mono red, white, warrior silliness. It's better than average. I'll give it a 6. Next up, we have the Codex. The Cody. Okay. 3. Legendary Artifact Creature 1/4. Construct. You can't cast permanent spells. Okay. This better be awesome to make up for that really ridiculous drawback. 4 and tap. Get Woobar. Okay. When you cast your next spell this turn, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile an instant or sorcery card with lesser MV. Until end of turn, you may cast a spell for free. Put each other card exiled this way on the bottom of your library in a random order. I guess I don't see you doing much in standard. Like, I'd give it like a 2, maybe a 3 in standard. In commander, like maybe Golas, something like that. I could see it being good. So, you know, like I feel like in standard it's like a 2 maybe. And in commander, I'd say it's 5. It's just a really hard that you have to play like a 5-color commander that's, you know, I guess you play this guy as a commander, but still, it's really weird playing the spell slinging deck that's 5 colors with no permanents. Next up. For colors in a blue, instant. Look at the top 2 cards of your library. Put any number of them in your yard. And put the rest on back on top of your library in any order. So this is kind of like Surveil. Then you draw 1. Sold. This is a good card. It's a 7. It's an amazing instant. Really like it. Next up, we have the Efreet Flame Painter. 3 in a red, 1/4 double strike. When it deals combat damage to a player, cast an instant or sorcery card from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. And if you do cast 1, it gets exiled. Pretty good, better than average. I'd give it a 6. Next up. At least it's a fixed Dreadhorde Archivist. Go blank. Okay, so this is 200 black for a Mind Rot that also exiles their graveyard. It's okay. Mind Rot doesn't get played really. It's like a 3. Next up. Heated Debate. Okay. So I'm not sure on this one. It's 2 in a red, can't be countered, do 4 to creature or walker. The question is, we got a lot of good removal right now. We got Soul Seer. We got another one. Like, Soul Seer does 5. Costs the same amount, but gets rid of indestructibility. This one costs the same amount, doesn't get rid of indestructibility, but does 4 and can't be countered. So the question is 4 enough damage, or do you really need 5? Coming to a new environment. So we'll just have to see. I'm going to have to give it a 3. If 4 is enough, this is like a 7. If it's not enough damage, then it's just not going to get played because of the other direct damage. Next up. Okay, one of the many legendaries we got today. Huffery Ghostforge. 3 of red and a white for a 4/5 legendary Dwarf Cleric. There are some dwarfs in standard. There's more dwarfs that aren't crap like the old ones. And there's also a cleric, which is kind of relevant too. Spirit you control, get +1/+1, and have trample and haste. Bam! 2 really powerful things. And whenever another non-token creature you control dies, exile it. If you do, create a token that's a copy of that creature. So you kill my dude, he comes back to life as a spirit token copy, trigger all EBTs again. Then when that token copy dies, take the exiled creature that was copied and put it back into your graveyard. So I like him a lot. He's really good in Commander, I feel. It's a different red-white Commander than one based on equipment or combat tricks. I like it. Like, in Standard, I think it would just be like a 5. But in Commander, 8, like 9 for originality is just so good. What do we got next? Another cool card. Illuminate History. 2 colors, 2 red. Lesson, so this can be in your sideboard and play a learn card and get it. Discard any number of cards, then draw that many. Then, if you have threshold 7 or more, make it a 3/2 red and white spirit token. Sure. So spending like 2 to ditch a bunch of cards and draw a bunch is good, and then spending 2 more to make a 3/2 dude, that's fine. I would have to say that as long as we have good learn guys in white and red, that this is a 7. Otherwise, it's not as good. Commander, they can just slot it into their deck because you can't play lessons because there's no sideboard. Next up, what do we got? The Lorehold Campus. I just kind of wanted to show it to you. Another sweet common dual land with a utility ability on it. People with a budget, you'll probably want to pick this up. Moving on. Lorehold Excavations. We got a red and white enchantment for 2. Shockingly, an enchantment for red that does not cost 5 or 6. Beginning of your end step, mill a card. If a land card was milled this way, gain life. Otherwise, each opponent takes 1 damage. Spend 5, exile a creature card from your graveyard to make a 3/2 red and white token that's tapped. It's okay. Thank God it doesn't cost 5. I will give it like a 4. And we'll move on to our next card. And we have another legendary creature. Not as good as our first one, but he's uncommon, so that makes sense. Quinterius, the Field Historian. 3 a red and a white for a 2/4 Huffery Cleric. Spirits you control get +1/+0. Whenever 1 or more cards leaves your graveyard, make a 3/2 red and white spirit token. He combos really good with the other legendary guy. So maybe you have the other legend be your commander and have this guy in your deck. And that could be something you could see there. You get both of them out. Your spirits get +2/+1 haste, trample, making tokens like crazy. Lots of synergy there. In Standard, I think he's only going to be like a 4 because he only has 1 creature relevant type and kind of high. In Commander, I think he's a 6 just because the other one exists that's so much better. Next up, we have Radiant Squirrel Wielder. 2 a red and a white. Instants and sorcery spells you control have lifelink. It's a dwarf and it's a cleric. We've had this ability before in cons. Here, at the beginning of your upkeep, exile an instant or sorcery at random. Spell you cast would go to your graveyard, exile it, and the card you exiled you may cast. Sure. It's only a 3. It's the randomness that really holds it down. But if it wasn't random, it would have to cost more because that's just a really strong ability. Next up, we have this guy. Reconstructing History. Oh my god. This card is so good for Commander. But let's talk about it real quick for Standard. 2, a red and a white. Return an artifact, an enchantment, an instant, a sorcery, and a walker to your hand and exile this. OMG. Like, I love it. Thinking Standard, it's only going to be a 4. But in Commander, it's going to be a 7. Because normally you see this effect in green, and we're getting it in red. White. I mean, it makes sense for what Lorehold's supposed to be doing. I really like it. I approve. I think it's really cool, especially at Uncommon. Moving on. Reduce to memory. Colorless 2 white lesson. Exile a non-land permanent. Its controller gets a 3/2 red and white spirit. Okay. This seems great in Standard. Just put them in the sideboards and then you can move the main deck if you wanted to. It's also good main deck to a degree. And then in Commander, it's just good in main deck. You get to get rid of a non-land permanent. For white, it's like a generous gift. You know, the only reason it's not as good is it's not instant and it's a little more white intensive, but mono white doesn't care. Like, sign us up. So both Standard and Commander would think this is a 7. Moving on. Return pass color. Red white's playing with a graveyard again. 3, a red, a white, and a red-white hybrid. 6 total for 4/2 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, return a spirit, an instant, or a sorcery from the graveyard to your hand. Pretty good. It's like a 4. Like, it's almost middle of the road, but I like it. It's definitely good and limited too. Any flying is. Next up. Oh baby. Semester's over. Time to let the dog out or something. 3 and a white. Instant. Exile any number of target creatures and walkers you control. At the beginning of your next end step, return each of them. Every creature gets a +1/+1 counter, and walkers get a loyalty counter. This is so good. It's better than Eerie Interlude. They wrath the board and responds. You blink all your stuff out of existence and comes back. My Planeswalker has 6 loyalty on it at the end of my turn. 7's when an ultimate. At the end of your turn, I blink it out, bring it back, and I ultimate on my turn to win the game faster. This is just really good. I think in Standard it might not do much. It's just probably a 4. But in Commander, it's going to get played in all the blink decks. Replace an Eerie Interlude or replace a Momentary Blink. It's just so good because it's any number of guys. It's a 7, maybe an 8, maybe. It's hard to gauge, but it's a slam dunk. Next up. Sparring Regiment. 2 and a white, enchantment whenever it enters learn. Whenever you attack, put a +1/+1 counter on target attacking creature and untap it. This isn't good in Commander. It's only good in Standard. And in Standard, it's just not that good. It's kind of expensive. So in both cases, I feel it's a 3. It's just not that great. Next up, the Strict Protector. Colorless and a white flying. 1/3. Whenever a permanent entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability to trigger, counter it unless they pay 2 more. This is a sideboard card and a cheap hate bear for white EDH. So I think that makes it a 5 across the board. I mean, there's not much to be said about it. Negating EBTs, negating triggered effects is pretty good. Next up. Okay, guys. We got a rough Google translation coming in. 2 colors, 2 green, 4/4 vigilance. When a creature with the same power as toughness attacks, it gains trample. It's okay. It's pretty cool. It's like a 4 in Standard. I think in Commander it's 6 because there's way more creatures you can slam around in. But it's just okay. Nothing super crazy going on here. The reason it's higher for Commander is just more stuff to choose from. Next up, we got Thrilling Discovery. Oh my god, sign me up. So, for red and a white, you ditch 2, draw 3, Cathartic Reunion. Heck yeah. But replacing the colors with a white, you get to gain 2 life on top of it? Oh, baby. We don't usually talk about commons here, or uncommons, but this is amazing. This is just straight up a 7. Yeah, I know it's not as good as Faithful Student, but they know that red's got to discard first, then draw, instead of draw, then discard. Next up, getting near the end for yesterday, Thunderous Orator. We got a core wizard for colorless and a white, vigilance, 2/2. Whenever it attacks, it decides to hand out abilities if other people have the abilities. Flying, first strike, double strike, death touch, indestructible, lifelink, menace, trample. But it doesn't hand out vigilance, it doesn't look like. So it's just okay. The interesting thing is it's a wizard in white. They've been mostly clerics and warriors, so that's pretty cool. But I just think it only gets a 4. And last up, time to get down with the leader of Lorehold and the founder. 5, a red and a white for a 5/5 flying vigilance hasted elder dragon. He's coming for you. Whenever he attacks, look at the top 7 cards. You may cast an instant or sorcery spell with mana value less than or equal to his power without paying its cost. Put the rest on the bottom in a random order. Okay. You're mostly spell slinging deck. That's pretty sweet. It's a different kind of commander than normally you'd see with red-white. Not relying on attacking multiple times or with, equipment. Though attacking with him multiple times with like Relentless Assault and stuff like that could be a thing. He's pretty cool. I like him. In Standard, he's a higher cost, but this 5-drop dragon that has haste comes out, makes a a treasure token. You attack, and then if it dies, you get another treasure token. So you get 7, or if he stays out, you have the treasure token from attacking that you can sack for 2. So if you can get to 5 and get that dragon out that you drew, potentially, because he digs so much, this could work in that deck. So I think in Standard, he's a 5. He's probably only 2 or 3 of in our deck. But Commander, I like him a lot. He's a 7. He's really good. Well, my name's been Draymore with the Wizards Arena. This was day 2 of the spoiler season. Please like, share, and subscribe, and comment below. Tell your friends about us. I would like to do more videos. I'll talk to you in the next one. Have a great day.